Hey, yo, just like I said, I was going to teach y'all how to make anime reaction videos. See, I know I got to follow through what I say. Reason why we're doing this is because, hey, man, we hit 10K subs, man. And we've been doing this for a little bit over a year. I think next month it'll be 2 years, been consistently uploaded on YouTube. I want to, show you guys, who are interested just to see on how the process of, editing anime reaction videos are, and ones who are interested in at least learning, because you guys yourselves want to, one day do reaction videos or don't know how to get around copyright and whatnot. So I want to, teach you guys how, what I know and what I do. Yeah, let's hop straight into it. Yo, but before we even jump straight into it, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Because let's be real, y'all, balancing everything, work, relationships, personal goals, it can feel like it's a lot. I know I had those moments. Y'all are aware I had those moments. I even did a video about like what I've been going through lately. So we all go through things that were weight. It feels like it's a lot of weight on your shoulder. Like everything is just a lot. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. If many of you aren't aware, BetterHelp is an online platform that makes getting therapy easy and accessible. All you gotta do is fill out a quick questionnaire. In as little as a couple days, you're gonna get matched with a therapist, a licensed therapist at that. And they're gonna fit all your needs. And the best part about it is it's all online. You can do it through text, whatever the case may be. So you ain't gotta worry about driving to the office. You don't gotta worry about no waiting rooms, none of that. And then if that first therapist that you get matched with, you're not really feeling too much and it isn't quite what you're like looking for, don't even trip. You can switch the therapist anytime you want. It'll be free of charge. So if you're ever feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or feeling like, or if you just want to start this year off right, definitely check out BetterHelp. And you can get 10% off your first month by clicking on the link in the description below, or by heading to betterhelp.com/rugrats. And I'll put it on the screen so you guys will be able to see it. Thanks again for BetterHelp for sponsoring this video and for making it easier to prioritize mental health. But let's get back into the video. Now, this is what I always see, right? Well, not always. I don't always see this, but I do have 2 monitors, but I am only going to be using this. Now, what I'm using right now to record is Streamlabs. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm going to have to send you guys a link. I'm gonna probably post the link to a video that can show you how to properly set this up. Because I don't know why, sometimes when I try to show my other homies how to set it up with my settings, it tweaks out for them. I'll send you guys a link to explain this. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I want to at least show you guys on how to get past the copyright, how to edit, all that. But I do want to show you guys how I set up my camera, the mic, and all that, okay? As you guys see, this looks decent, right? Doesn't look too bad. But when I first log on, I'm gonna show you guys what I typically see. This is what it looks like. I know it looks horrible, right? It looks really bad. You see my bed ain't made, you know what I'm saying? It looks horrible the way it looks like this. And the reason why I'm showing this to you guys is just so you guys know you don't need top of the line equipment for your videos to look decent. You know what I'm saying? Now, this looks horrible though. Now, I'm gonna show you guys the process and what I use so that my mic can sound better, for my camera to look a little bit better. Cause this is like I think like a $20 webcam I'm using. This mic is expensive. Shout out my boy Vic Vibes. He helped with me getting this mic. But this mic now is really good, but the mic I was using before was really bad. But let me show you guys the process of what I do to at least make my stuff appear a little bit better. I use an app called the Video Broadcast. Right now I'm using a Shure microphone, right now I have noise removal on, because when I don't, it picks up a lot of noise. So, it can pick up a lot of noise. It doesn't sound as crisp. It can pick up background noises, air noises. I mean, even with it on, when my AC cuts on, sometimes it picks it up, but it's not as bad when I cut this on. When I cut this on, it sounds a bit more smooth, you know what I mean? This is pretty much all you need for the microphone, the noise removal. Reason why I don't do room echo removal is because when I get really loud, it'll clip my voice, right? Because my room echoes a lot because I don't really have a lot in my room. But now I'm gonna show you guys how to improve the quality of the video. So one thing I'll do is I go here and then I click on camera properties. Then once I'm here, this is where you can tweak the settings on. See if I can turn it down. You can tweak with this a lot, you know what I mean? But yeah, we're gonna do that on 128 though. The biggest thing that I used that came in clutch for me is I went to camera control. Now, I don't know if this will work for y'all webcam or whatever. This is what I use. Maybe I got a better camera, cool. I tweaked with the exposure. Right now it's at a -4, so I bring it down to a -7. See, when I bring it down to a -7, it looks more smoother. I don't look as choppy. The room looks a little bit nicer and it sets the vibes right. The lights in the background don't look as overly bright and stuff. That's what I usually have on. And that's pretty much all I do for that aspects of tweaking the settings. Now, what I do, you see virtual black background, you can either add a blur, and I don't put a lot of strength behind the blur because it looks kind of ridiculous once it's too high. I just put it about like right here, and then I click it on. And then see, you know, you got a little nice blur in the background. This does take a lot on the GPU, but to me, it's worth it. GeForce is the reason why I'm able to do all this. So that's why I use this just to make the camera look a little better and make my mic sound a little bit more better. But just know it is all artificial. So like if you look, see, you see how the blur, it comes in and out, it cuts out like that, you know, but hey, it is what it is. You know, it's not costing me nothing to use this app, but this is how I get the camera to look a little bit more better, look more nice. And I have recessed lights, so I can tweak with the lights a little bit more. Like for example, I can change that to white. I can change it back to blue. I can change one of my other ones to any other color I want, you know what I mean? I can tweak it how I want, but typically how I have my room look, I typically just have it all white. Lately, that's how I've been doing it. But you know, this is just for the camera. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to properly edit, okay? So I personally use this app, DaVinci Resolve 19. The reason why I like to use it is because it's completely free. I can get down or do all the edits that I need to do that's necessary. It's free, you know what I mean? I don't gotta worry about spending nothing on no program, none of that. And my editing is really simple, straightforward. I don't do a whole lot. And it got me this far. First thing you wanna do is either click on Untitled Project right here or click on New Project. And then it's gonna ask you to name the project that you wanna have at. I'm gonna be editing episode 12 of Bungo Stray Dogs. We're gonna put in BSD 12, right? That's all I put. And then bam, you're gonna get into this. Now this seems like a whole lot. I know it's a whole lot going on, but don't even trip off that, all right? So the first thing I do, I'm going to import the video in which I recorded. I'm assuming a lot of you guys know how to record itself. I right click this area and then I go to import media. And then, you know, you gotta click on the video that you recorded and then import it. And then, well, right now I know this is Bungo Stray Dogs episode 12. And then it's gonna say change project frame rate. You can either click change or don't change. I always just click change, who cares? And then bam, see, look, this is what you got. And look, all you gotta do is click and hold, and you're gonna drag it down to right here to the timeline and just drop it. This video timeline right here is going to be the camera. Now it's gonna make sense once I'm done. What I do right after this, I click and hold Alt on the keyboard, and then I drag it up, bam, let go. Now there's two of these, right? The reason why there's two of these is because there's gonna be two screens. One where you see the anime and one where you see me on camera. Whatever is up on top is gonna be overlaying the previous video. Now look, I click on this one and then you're gonna transform it. I don't like to crop too much, so all I do is simple for me. I go right here, I type in 2, the number 2. Bam, it zooms in. I know it still looks crazy because you got this all over. Just stay with me, all right? Stay with me. And then I drag this to where you can no longer see the right side. See, it's easy. You with me, right? we still here. And then you click on this. And then again, this is where you either want to crop it, you know what I'm saying, to where it just shows the screen alone. But again, sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I don't even crop it. Sometimes I just position it to where I want, you know what I mean? But for now, we just gonna crop it. Crop it like that. And then we're going to position this up in the corner where I usually put it. You can put this wherever you want. You can put it like this, you know, up at the top, left, right, middle. I don't care how you do it. Just set it up how you want it. But it's just how I set it up. I place it up here. This is how I set it up. And it's pretty straightforward like this. This is how my layout is pretty much all the time. Now, just so you guys are aware, I have to edit this same video twice because I have to edit it and get it prepared for Patreon first. And then I follow up to handle copyright, to get past copyright on YouTube. Now, Patreon obviously doesn't have to worry about copyright, so they get the full length video, except for just like bloopers and stuff like that. How I used to edit it, I used to go about it, you know, start chopping things up right here. But one thing that I found that was beneficial for me is because a lot of the times what picks up on copyright isn't just the image. It's the music, the sound in the background. Now, as I go on, this will make more sense. But what I do, I go to this section here and I click on edit, right? Because right now we're over at cut, right? But I always set up everything in cut. I go to edit. Yeah, look, now yours is not gonna look like this, all right? It's not gonna look like this. Now this is where your setup in Streamlabs matters because you see I have where my microphone is speaking right now. and then let's say I play some music, audio output is playing right now. So that's where it's going to be an audio output and a microphone output. There's a reason why I have a third one, but I'll explain that later on. But what I do is I right click on the video. You got to do this twice. Right now, these are all linked together, right? So what I try to do is I delink my audio clips to the actual video. So all you gotta do is click on it again, and then now look. You see how I can select the audio tracks. We don't need all these audio tracks. So that's what we do. So we delete that and delete that. The reason I'm not deleting this one is because I know this is where I'm talking. So I know this is my audio track, like where my microphone comes into play. Now I leave this one here. Now remember, we duplicated the same video and overlaid it. So the same thing applies to this one. We're going to delink. Now I know this right here is the audio track for my desktop. So whatever playing through the desktop, whether it's music, whether it's a video from YouTube, anime, whatever the case may be. Now this matches exactly up with my voice, this one right here. So I know this is my voice track on microphone. We can delete all this except the desktop audio. But we're gonna click and hold this and drag it up to audio 2. Now, when we go back to the edit section, to the cut section right here, watch me click on that. You see how these are highlighted? I already beginning my recording on this episode of Bungo Stray Dogs, right? So we're gonna skip all this. So before I start the actual video, I always do my little checkups. You know, I make sure, you know, I have at the highest quality, whether it's 1080p, 4K, whatever the case may be. So I have that get set up in the background, and then I start. So we know right here, because you see the audio wavelengths, this is my audio, right? Now all this, you know, where you see me doing all this nonsense of setting everything up, we don't need all that. So we're gonna chop that out. So this is how we're gonna split, right? To get ready to cut it away, to delete it. You're gonna press and hold Control and B. And you see, now look, this is separated from the rest. All this has been split. So you know what we can do with all this? We can press delete. Right now, this is going to be left over. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't, but just delete it. Get rid of it. That's how you chop off the unnecessary stuff. Now, for Patreon, it doesn't require a whole lot of editing, right? But sometimes you want clarity when you're speaking. You want to clean up when you're pausing. With me, I don't speak the best, so I pause a lot, I stutter a lot, and sometimes I leave it in. But when I struggle, when I'm like, when I'm thinking for a while, I try to chop that part out. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it's a really long time, like, cause sometimes I'm trying to formulate my thoughts for like, it'd be like 15 seconds. Maybe that's a little exaggeration, but still, you know what I mean? Where I'm chewing on what I'm trying to say. Cause it is gonna feel a little unnatural sometimes, especially when you're first starting, when you're talking to a camera at first, cause there's not really anybody on the other side. But you know, you get used to that sooner or later. So yeah, so right here, this is my intro that I always start off with. I don't need to edit any of this part on the lower part. Now we know the lower section is my camera, right? Cause remember the lower part is where you're gonna be visually seen. Reason why we know this, cause look, you see, I can like tweak it out. I can zoom in and out. Once that's set up, you don't really have to touch that too much. We don't want this part really on here just yet, you know what I'm saying, until the actual reaction begins. You get me? So we're gonna skip pretty much to the ending of the intro and then get rid of that. Along the way, I'll sometimes like to cut out any parts where I'm stuttering a lot, or if I didn't like what I said, I can tweak it. So I know I stopped talking here, right? This is where I stopped talking. So what I do, and don't worry about this disappearing. Sometimes it disappears. I don't know why on my end it does that, but don't worry about that, because clearly you can still hear me talking. You can get rid of all that, right? You know, how I did that is I did, again, Control B, but you can switch the keybind. You can switch the keybind to where it's easier. Instead of you got to hit Control B, I switched the keybind to where all I got to do is press S, and that means split. And then I highlight this, and then I delete it. I delete the track and all that. So from here on out, all you see is just me talking to the camera. Let's get with y'all boys. We're back at it again with another reaction video. And it's that simple. And see, and now look, I'm gonna show you an example. See right here, I said, let's get it, but I didn't start the video because I was, you know, looking over everything. Sometimes I like make sure everything's set. I forgot to mention motherfucker. See right here, I forgot to mention something. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start and split it right there. Get rid of all that junk. We don't need that. We can get rid of all that. See, we can right here. I'm pretty sure this right here is probably me clearing my throat. But listen. See. Yeah, because like I know it's like with me reacting for so long, it adds a little strength to my throat. Like especially if I'm recording like multiple apps. But again, this isn't nothing fancy. This is just Patreon, all right? Not saying Patreon isn't crazy, but Patreon doesn't require a lot of editing, okay? Now, sometimes what I'll do, just so, you know, you guys don't have to worry about hearing that. This is an example because you hear how I clear my voice right here. One thing you do is select just the track alone. Now be careful not to like click and drag it because it'll move it out of place. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. And also what I did there is called undo. So for example, let's say it's right there. I messed up. You want to click and hold Control and Z. That's going to be your best friend. All right, undoing, all right? But yeah, so just to get rid of this little part, split. Remember, you can either press Control B or change your keybind. I changed my keybind to S. So where it's a split, and I delete it. All right, so now look. You can't hear it. To me, that works best, all right? And see, in all this right here is just either me talking, and it's nothing crazy, right? Super simple. But this is for Patreon, all right? I'll make sure to timestamp it for YouTube. That's the one that is gonna require a lot more editing. But sometimes what I do, I like to go through this to make sure there's whenever there's a blooper or when I take my mask off or I gotta go head out to take care of something. That's the moments where you really gotta make sure to edit. Cause you don't wanna like, oh, I gotta use the restroom and it's taking 5 minutes and you don't cut that part out. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason for that to be in the video. Now look, I'll give you an example. You look at this track. You said there's a big space in between right here. Now that's how I talk, right? Sometimes I pause. I'm like, man, why would he do that? Don't make no sense. Now, if you don't want that part, you can chop that part out. I'll show you an example. So good. So I stop right here and split, right? I make sure to split the top part as well, track, bottom, all of it, right? And then I go here and I press split again, right? And then highlight all of that and then I delete and delete again. I have to click on it and the tracks looks like this. Simple but good. You know what I mean? Like it looks simple. The food looks simple and everything, but it looks good. That's it. All right, and it looks smooth. See, it's simple. I hope you guys are staying with me so far, right? See, now look. Now, this is something that I personally do. This just to add a little oomph to the editing. Now, this isn't required. This isn't necessary, but it's something that I like to do. I like to put in sound effects at times. Remember how we imported the video? This is what we're gonna do for anything, whether it's audio tracks, whatever the case may be. You right click, import media, and then I have a couple of edits or I have a couple of edits that I like to use or music, you know, in the background when I put it in the video, just to spice it up some. But we're gonna go over all that in the YouTube edits. I like to add in this little tense cinematic boom sound. I like to add in that little, you know how they got those Vine booms, or by doing like the little tense boom. And you'll see why I add this right here. Now look, so this is the way I say. I forgot this. I was gonna say, whoa. You see right here where I had this realization of the whoa, wait a minute. That's not me doing this on purpose. That's natural, right? I do that naturally. What I'll do, it just adds a little bit more oomph. I don't know why it works, but even you guys see you guys like it. I'll move the cinematic boom to where it'll play once I go, whoa. Whoa. You see, it's not nothing crazy, but it just adds a little oomph to it. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? About something just clicked in my brain. One, this nigga, he lives. You see what I did there? That was a long pause. You can leave it in there if you want to, but this is where if you edit it here for Patreon, because you still want it to be a good experience for Patreon, especially because they're paying, you know what I'm saying? I typically like to edit out some of that, right? So press delete. Now I do want to show you something. Sometimes what you'll do, like what I did here. Now look, this, you can tell when something is split because it shows a mini line on it. The top track didn't fully get split. So if I delete this, right, if I delete this area without splitting that top part, it'll keep this, but it pushes the audio off from the video clip. Because remember, we delinked the audio to the video. So it'll do like a slight lag with the sound effects. I'll show you. You see that? So you really want to make sure that you fully split the clips, all right? So like you don't have to worry about that without the lagging issues. So you want to really make sure you fully split the clips. So yeah, and this is what I typically do for Patreon is just mainly me cleaning up dialogue when I'm talking, cleaning that up and just make it an enjoyable experience for, the viewers there, because they are paying for uncut reactions. Even though this is cut up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But you guys get, you get why I'm doing the way I'm doing it. Now I'm not going to show you guys the full process for the Patreon, because this takes up a little time, and it's just rinse and repeat. Now also, this is something I do want to show as well. A lot of times I always skip the openings, you know what I mean? Now it does show you can skip it on the video screen, you see, so I skip it, but you don't want to show all that, you know what I mean? Like, there's no need to show you, oh, I'm skipping the scene. So what I do is right when it goes, oh, my bad, I'm not even explaining everything. You see, I click and drag the timeline. You can click and drag right where it shows about like here. I'll split the clip and I'll skip all this. Don't need all that in there. Then I'll wait till the actual anime starts back up, and then I delete all that. So it looks kind of like this. See, nothing too crazy, right? But again, it just cleans it up. The experience is a little bit better. It's little things that matter. Now, when I get to the end of the episode, after I'm done, doing my little slight tweaks, as you can see through the timeline, I just did little tweaks. But towards the end, it's going to require more editing, because this part is where I really struggle with formulating my thoughts. Once I notice it ends, I split, and then oh my bad. I split it right here. Delete. You see a lot of spaces already. Okay. And see, and all this isn't necessary, right? So we can delete all that. We can delete all this right here. We don't need that. So you see all this right here? We don't need all this, right? And look, I know my headset is all busted up right here. Okay, let me acknowledge that. I even acknowledged it here. I put a little message. I swear to God. Because right here is where I tweaked out, and like my headset got messed up. So look. We're going to delete all this. We don't need all that extra. Yeah. Cut out all this fluff. We don't need any of this. I see why y'all want to see. Like, all this is good. You feel me? It's all to keep in. See this right here? Or, we don't need none of this. We can delete all that. See, and that's pretty much what I typically do. This is for Patreon, but this translates over to YouTube. All right. So I don't have to worry about doing this part of the editing afterwards. See, and that's the ending. So this is pretty much all I did for, Patreon. Just did little tweaks and everything. And that was it. This part isn't complicated whatsoever, and straightforward. Because right now it's 1:22 a.m., right? So this one was no problem. Now, this was all that was needed, right? Wasn't nothing too crazy, wasn't nothing too wild, just little sound effects, give a little boom, bam. And then what we'll do, you see this little rocket ship over here? You're gonna click on that, boom, and it's gonna send you here, right? Now, sometimes, let me show y'all something. Sometimes you'll see, sometimes this will tweak out, this part right here. You'll see this looking like, it'll be right here. And it shows in and out range. You do not want that. I promise you don't want that. Because all this right here that is shadow out, you will not have in the recording. It irritated me. It happened to me a bunch of times before. You're going to click this and just click entire timeline. So it covers everything. It's going to render the entire video. So I record in 1080p. And typically you'll want it at best or restricted to 80K. But I noticed this KBS crap is too high for Patreon, so the processing takes too long. Like I remember I used to always have it at 80K until I did it on Patreon, because the process took so long. I remember I had this one episode done for, I believe it was Bleach, and I could have had the episode been posted on Patreon, but it took so long for it to process. So I typically drop it down to about 13K. And then you see it's going to ask you to add to render queue. You're going to click that, and then you're going to type in what it is. It's going to be called BSD App 12. That's it. You're going to click render all. And then it's going to go through and render the entire thing for you. Now, once that is done rendering, that's when, I'll get that set up and post it on Patreon. But I want to show you guys is how to edit it for YouTube to get past the copyright. Again, I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, so it's not nothing too crazy to remember. Now, there's going to be a few things that you need for YouTube, or for your edits for YouTube, all right? So you have to cover the screen or blur the screen, make it transparent. I use something to cover the screen now. To me, this is the easier option, but it's the less safer option. Keep that in mind. Easier but less safer option. I don't even know how to pronounce it. This topographic wallpaper crap. You can use one of these or anything that can mess with their detective system of picking up those colors of the anime. You feel me? Because I don't know how the detection system works, but this typically helps it. You can get one of these, you know what I'm saying? You get anything that can just mess with the screen, son. Some people even get an actual image of an anime, you feel me, and just place it over it and make it less transparent. And also, you're gonna need some music. I'm gonna show you guys what type of music I use for it, because you can't just use any music, obviously. And I searched this up, free for profit type beat, right? These, for the most part, should be allowed for you to use it for profit. Sometimes it isn't the case. It's where you got to read the description. So let's listen to this one. I can already tell this one's gonna be trash, but let me stop. I'm not saying it's fully trash, but it's not my cup of tea. See, look, right here, you see this dude says you can use this beat without lease and keep 100% profit on YouTube. That means you can use this on your, you know, your YouTube, SoundCloud. Now, he ain't saying everywhere, but still do your due diligence with this and making sure it is available, because this doesn't always cover it. Me, I like jazzy beats, so I typically have some type of jazz, because I'm big on jazz. I try to have something like that typically in my videos. So I'll put in jazz type beat, and then something like this will be playing. Y'all heard this in my videos, right? I shout out this dude, Mets Music. I really rock with his stuff. I typically put this stuff in. So music and something to cover your screen. Now, even though this is almost done editing, don't be afraid to, you know, play your little music in the background. Chillax, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wait, it's finished. Yeah, so that's finished, you know. So now what I do after this is completely done rendering, I go straight to getting this set up for YouTube most of the time. So for this part right here, you see, man, what's good with y'all boys? You're back. It's my intro, right? Pretty straightforward. So what I try to do, I try to have some music playing during that part. Let's add this, you know, and the same thing, importing the same thing. Now I do want to show you guys something though, all right? Because you see right here, see where this green mark is? That's where I put this sound effect, remember? Where I was like, oh, whoa. Right? Now, if I place, because I got to click and drag the track down, right? And you want to place it below the blue mark. Obviously, you don't want to use all this. So what I do just to get past that real quick, I just take it right here, go over here, chop it, you know, same, you know, you want to split it, take it over here. That's simple. Now, all I do is just lower the volume because it's going to be slapping at first. Man, what's good with y'all boys? You're back at the game with another react. You know, you don't want to drown out your voice, all right? So let's bring it down some. Let's try 16. Video to Bungo Stray Dog. It's still kind of loud. Closing out the first season with episodes. So what I do here though, now this is where I clip it, get rid of the that other part of the music. Let's get it. So it's not overplaying into the audio of the anime that's playing. But since I'm still here talking, we can get rid of that. We don't need this part. So it's like, I just kept it there for Patreon so they can visually see all that. Right here, up here, you see transitions, right? I do this for Patreon, but I want to save the meat of this for you guys. Sounds crazy. It's for you guys to see on YouTube. You'll take one of these transitions, right? Now you can get a plugin for transitions. Search on YouTube, free plugins, DaVinci Resolve, and they'll show you. So I take one of these, place it over, and you can lower or extend the transition effect. I do about like right here, right? So it looks like this once it's fully done. Yeah, man, let's hop straight into it. Let's get it. Very simple, right? It's something simple, nothing too crazy. This is where you need to use what I told you guys. You have to cover the screen. Either you can go about it two ways again. Like I said, you can use this right here, this screen cover. And how you want to do it is you want to obviously bring it to the size of this, and you want to lower the opacity, or hopefully I said that right. Y'all know I'm slow. Just so it can somewhat be seen, right? And obviously you want to leave room for the subtitles. So we're going to lower it. I usually lower it between 60 to 70. Sometimes I have it at 80, you know, so it's up to you guys, but you do want your viewers on YouTube to at least still see the video, okay? Keep that in mind. Or you can do, this is extra steps though. This is where It's extra steps, but it's more safer, okay? In the long run, but it's gonna take more editing. You're gonna double this one again. You're gonna make a third track for this one, right? So you're gonna duplicate the top one. I'll lower the opacity for this. You're still not gonna be able to tell. Let's say I drop it to about 27. And then this one right here, which is hard for you to see, but it's right underneath it. You see that? Right? You're going to crop it to where the subtitles are at. So let's say about right here, right? Now, it's right here. It's still like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's still, going to be hard to see. See now, but even with this, you still want to have some type of coloring blocking this part. Like you can either, I know I'm kind of messing it up. You can either, let's say, lower this part to this part right here. I know it's not perfect. I'm just putting this here real quick. You see how I have my little light right here that's covering it? Either use that, change the colors. I used to have not a ring light, a little backlight around my bed that will help throw off the colors. Just have extra colors in the background if you're gonna do it this way. But the easiest way for me is to bring on the screen cover. Whatever you use, this is the one I use. People don't really tell you this. A lot of you're not gonna find YouTubers telling you to use this because it's their little secret. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like. They don't want to give people the sauce like that. But this one, for me, it works the best because it allows me to cover more seconds on YouTube. And this is going to be the key part. Now, you want this to cover the entire timeline. Now, what you're going to do here, because you want this screen cover to cover the entire timeline that the video is going to be displayed at. So you're going to drag your cursor, once you select it, to where you're going to see either two icons. You want to see this icon or this icon. Each one of those does not matter, but you're going to grab and click and hold, and I go up and drag. See that? Now, remember when my headset got busted up? So I want that message still there so people know. So I let go. But typically, if you don't have to put a message there, you can drag all the way to the end, no worries. But what I do is I just put it right on top. Or it could be vice versa. You can put it here and have this on top. It's up to you. But typically, you're not going to have all this, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, drag this all the way down. And that part is going to cover the entire timeline, okay? Now, that's not all the editing, right? That's just the first step, okay? So one thing you have to keep in mind with this part is you want to cut out chunks, right? Because if you play too much, you're going to get caught up. Right? That's as simple as that, all right? You can't play too much of the video. Keep that in mind. Rule of thumb, I typically go by is 5 to 10 seconds. Now, with this little image here, sometimes, hear what I'm saying, sometimes you can stretch it out to 15, 12 seconds, but do not play. Trust me, you guys, please do not be playing around with this because you can get caught up with this, all right? So just keep in mind, play it safe 5 to 10 seconds. So right here, I know, I'm gonna let this play about 5 seconds, right? Do I smell miso soup? So what I can do here is I'll split it, drag it down to about right here, split it again, and then I'll highlight all this, and then I press delete. I get rid of it, timeline comes closer, bam. So look, do I smell miso soup? Why does that look so simple but good? You know, and it cuts here once I'm talking, right? Now, this part, we can get ready to chop all this out. Scrolling through, and then we can do about right here. I'll split it, highlight it, press delete. All that gets chopped up, right? How'd she get in his crib? Now, this is what I'm gonna show you guys, okay? I would still recommend do more editing than just this, because let's say they flag you for copyright, right? Or they flag that you're using their content. You still wanna say, well, I'm transforming this content, what you're doing. So one thing you wanna do is, let's say right here, at least where he jumps up, I'll chop it right here. I'll go here. I'll delete all this, but I know I'm talking in this section. How'd she get in his crib? How'd she get in his crib? So I said that. So what I'll do is I'll delete all that, And look, his crib. I'm the only one here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other video right there. But what you can do, add a little zoom. That's it. Add a little zoom. Nothing too crazy, but it's just little subtle touches. How she get in his crib? And it goes back to that. Wait, I forgot this. I was gonna say, whoa. Now see, remember what I did with this right here? Sometimes you can add a little emphasis to stuff. So right here. Wait, I forgot this. I was gonna say, whoa. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this in. Typically when I talk, I try to cut out all that, you know, just to add more emphasis on me, myself. But what I'll do right here, right when it's going to have that boom and that O, I split it right there. Whoa. Wait a minute. Just wait for it. Something just clicked in my brain. One. So remember how we split it right here? Because remember last time I had that long pause? I'll get rid of all this, right? So this is a step. Whoa. You see now, look, this is what I'll do. I'll click on this, the video format, the camera, where it's just me. And then you see over here, it says dynamic zoom. All you have to do is once this, now remember, before you click dynamic zoom, click on the clip that you want to use and make sure it's split on two ends, okay? See how the first end is split and at the bottom end is split where I want it to stop at. So I click on it and I click dynamic zoom. Now what it's gonna look like, it's gonna add a little more oomph to it. You know what I'm saying? More emphasis on that. Oh, yeah, I forgot this. I was gonna say, whoa, wait a minute. Just thought about something just clicked in my brain. One. See, now one thing I'll do here, and this again, it's real simple. Right before I clap, we're gonna split it. Right now, the zoom's gonna be a little bit more faster. Just thought about. This is something you gotta keep in mind. Once you split it and it's still dynamic zoom, just remember it's still going to apply to the clip that was split. So like, one, we don't want that. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the way that looks. So where I'm zooming out, since I say one right there, how about I just, you know, zoom in some? Look at this. One, this nigga, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy right there, but it just adds a little oomph to it. Just a little bit, you know? And again, this is my editing style. It's really simple, but yeah. And right now it's 1:46 a.m. You know, we're going to try to move as fast as we can to get this done. But this is typically all you have to do. Keep 5 seconds to 10 seconds of video footage on screen. And that's it. Just follow my steps for a little bit, you know, and we're going to keep it going. He lives on his own now? Like he has his own coverage. So, but while I'm talking, we don't need all this. We don't need all this stuff in here. Yeah, we get rid of all that. We don't need none of this crap. So at least when I'm talking, it's just me and y'all. You know what I mean? Just me and y'all. Don't got to worry about all this stuff on the screen. One thing that you'll realize about my editing style is that I try to tell a story, if this makes sense. Like, for example, a lot of people in reactors sometimes will cut out big chunks of dialogue. I try not to do that, but I understand why they do it. It's just to promote more of their Patreon, right? So they'll cut out even more than what's necessary, if that makes sense. I try to keep in as much as I can, which is dangerous, but just so you guys don't have to go and spend money that you don't need to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm not grateful for the people who are spending money on me, who are, you know, showing me support. Man, you guys mean the most, you feel me? No matter what you do, even if you don't pay, you know, you're supporting me. But I wanted to where, like, you know, it's not, you don't have to feel like, oh man, I have to go to his Patreon to watch his stuff, you know, his content. You get what I'm saying? Even though I'm gonna be treating y'all niggas with something soon. But you know, hey, Patreon. So look, I'll chop it right here. So agree. So we can put it here. Delete that. Of course she agreed. Now look, what I'll do here is I'll cut this and this right here and chop that out and do a little small zoom in. Go over here where it says transform and just slide. That's it. Of course she agreed. And then we're gonna see, and then sometimes we have to see if we want to keep this stuff in. We'll just let this play out. Let's see. So we'll put it right here. We don't need all this over here. We'll delete all that. Get rid of it. So it's still gonna look a little choppy, but of course she agreed. See, now it's still choppy, but I still want the dialogue to get across. Now, if it's completely unnecessary, we'll chop it out. All right. But if it's, stuff like this, you got to get rid of it. And remember, 5 to 10 seconds. Try to keep that. Okay. And then, what we're going to do? We're going to cut all this out. Yeah. We'll go right here. Yeah. Yeah, you better, dog. Then I'll do this. Protect that girl. Get rid of all that. All right. Oh, my bad. See, I'm going straight to just full edit mode. Let me chill out. I'll zoom in a bit, and then this is what's going to look like on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, you better, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Protect that girl. That's it right there. See, pretty simple, straightforward. That's all you got to do. Now, let me show y'all something. Sometimes, let's say, we'll see if it flags it, but you hear this music in the background. You hear that music? Now, what you can do to avoid music is to get rid of the soundtrack. Clip it and get rid of the soundtrack. Now, this is why I say to delink the clips from the audio, because it's way easier. Because trust me, I remember when I first started doing reactions, I didn't delink it. So like if I cut away, let me show y'all something. Let's say I cut this stuff away, right? Check that girl. Hold on. You said you can still hear it? So I remember sometimes when I was talking, I got rid of the image, but you can still hear the music and dialogue in the background. Sometimes that's fine. It's not always a bad thing, but when it's music bumping, that can flag copy, that system for copyrighted material or whatever, it's going to flag it. So, you want to get rid of it. So none of that is playing, right? But obviously we want to keep some of this. And then look, I'll just laugh at that, you know what I'm saying? And then we can either do this with the zoom. Now look. See how that one goes? It goes up close to expanding outwards, zooming out. You can click on it and then click on dynamic zoom and you can swap it. All right, you can swap it to where it's zooming in towards you. And to me, I think that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only two I usually use. But again, I'm keeping this really simple and straightforward, so it's nothing too crazy going on. But again, it's just rinse and repeat. And I know a lot of you guys are getting flagged for the copyright stuff. No worries. See, as I explained all that. See right here, I'd rather keep this part, and I feel like this upcoming information is going to be more important than this one. So we're going to choose to get rid of it, or that portion. Then we're going to let this part play out. Now, this is where it's always tricky, is dialogue intensive, episodes. Enemies, like, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say Monster. That one is dialogue intensive. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a whole lot of action scenes and stuff like that. Stuff, crazy animation. There's going to be a lot of niggas talking. Nothing wrong with that. I appreciate it. I like anime like that, okay? But when it comes to editing, that's the tough part. You got to really choose what you want to include in the show, in the video, when it comes to YouTube, because you can't keep all of it on there or you're going to get hit with a copyright, and you don't want to get no copyright strikes and none of that. Thank God I ain't got none of that, but still, you want to avoid that. I decided to chop out that info, and we're going to let this play out. So right here, right when he's done talking, I'll clip that, and then we'll go here. So they American niggas. Okay. And I'll just clip it to the end of what I said there. Now I'll get rid of this. So again, this is how it's quiet. So you're not hearing no background noise. You know what I'm saying? And do a slight zoom in. Don't gotta be. It don't have to be a specific number. It could be like all the way right here. You know what I'm saying? But me, I keep it to about right there. Okay. To me, this is still keeping a decent amount in. I'm not chopping it up too heavily to where you can't really understand. Because even though I know most of the time when people come into these reaction videos, they already seen the episode. We know that, but they're still watching it with you. You guys are still watching it with me. You know what I'm saying? So you want to keep that in mind. Keep the viewers in mind, even if they are on YouTube. Because not everybody has money to pay for Patreon. Not everybody has, got it like that. But you want them to enjoy themselves. Oh, and yeah, real quick. So I didn't fully explain what I meant before. Now, see, now imagine like music is bumping right here, right? Remember the top track, for the most part, or where you place it, should be the audio. But sometimes, your microphone could be up top, the top green track. You'll be able to tell, obviously. You're gonna just delete the track alone. You're not gonna delete the clip, but you gotta make sure it's delinked. So look, you don't hear nothing in the background.
Watch your head.
But when I'm talking, you can hear. So that comes in clutch. A lot of YouTubers don't delink their stuff, so sometimes they get rid of the whole clip. You know what I'm saying? In that portion, so that so you don't hear anything. But sometimes you want to continue to display the screen while getting rid of the music. So this right here sometimes allow you to push it instead of like, let's say 5 seconds. You can push it to like, 15 seconds more comfortably. You know what I'm saying? But again, you're still playing a risky game. Okay. Don't get stupid. Trust me, do not get stupid, because I uploaded videos, it was good, and then it gets taken down. I had a whole series, like, I'm pretty sure some of you know, I reacted to Hell's Paradise on YouTube. All of them were good, right? And then a whole bunch of them started tripping out. They kept, saying it was blocked and this and that. It was just the way I did it. I was playing too much. I was letting too much go on. I got too comfortable, okay? And then it got taken down by like a week later. But this way, the way I've been doing this, have been way better. I've been good doing it this way.
You kind of tall,
right? But we're gonna leave the audio in because there's no music playing. You know what I mean? Now with this part, we're going to speed this up because now it is 2 a.m. and we're still at the beginning. So I'm gonna show you guys me editing, but we're gonna try to speed this up. You know what I mean? Well, also, again, don't be afraid to play some little music in the background. You know what I mean? And they told me not to waste my time. See, now look, I do want to show y'all something that I didn't keep in mind. You see how the subtitles moved up to the top? Sometimes that does happen and I messed up. So, we're going to slide this down and then we're going to have to crop the bottom of the image like that, right? So that everything can still get through. So look, boom. See, now it's double text. So we're going to slide it down even further and then crop the bottom even more. Also, another little tip I can tell you guys, sometimes, they talk in long sentences. You can sometimes chop it down. So let's say, since I keep forgetting the orange hair dude's name, when him talking and Desire talking, it can cause an issue, especially if you're trying to show it on screen. What you can do is about right here. You can clip this part out, shorten it, right? So even though it clips me out a little bit too, that's totally fine. But see, it's a sudden jump, but it at least allows for you guys to at least somewhat understand what's being said in that moment. Now, sometimes this doesn't work, so sometimes you gotta chop crap out, But again, just try your best to keep in mind the viewers on YouTube. You want them to feel like that's if they can watch it, like they're watching it on Patreon. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying, believe or don't do that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, just, you want them to feel satisfied after they're done watching as best as possible. It's not going to be completely, because I still get niggas that complain, bro, you chopped out the best part. Bro, I tried. I tried to leave it in there, okay? So I just finished editing this portion pretty much. So right now I'm going to slap in some music at the ending of it. Sometimes I switch up the songs. I got a couple of them, actually, let's import some more instead. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to turn this down some. And since we pretty much edited all this already for Patreon, we don't got to worry about tweaking it, cutting out any pauses and stuff. So we're going to leave that alone. Now, what I do though, for moments like this, I do have an outro. I'm not the biggest fan of intros, but I got an outro. And I'll show you where I get the outros from as well. So I'm bringing it here, connected to that. Then that's it. Now, this is what it typically looks like, right? But what I do, it just adds a little more onto it. I click on it and dynamic zoom it. That's it. So looks like that. Got the smooth jazz in the background. You know what I'm saying? But no, yeah, so that's all. That's pretty much all I do. Then it ends there, clip it at the end, then delete that, then boom. This is the ending. Now, let me show you guys something. If you guys want to put pop-ups in, I'll be real with you guys. it's really good to do pop-ups, but I'm lazy half the time, okay? Because I become straight back from work and I just don't feel like doing it, but it is a good habit of doing this. Let me show you. So I'll show you guys my Discord link. Let's put it right, let's put it right here, right? Let's go over here. This is the Discord link that I use, right? But obviously we don't need all that green. You're gonna go over to edit, right? And we're gonna scroll up and you see this is where our link is at, the green screen part of the pop-up for Discord link. So you're gonna right click it and then you're gonna click on new Fusion clip. Bam, it's a new Fusion clip. So now you're gonna go over here to Fusion, click on that. Once it goes over, just follow my steps. You're gonna hover over here and you see these two black circles. You're gonna click on the one on the left. Click on that. And once you click on that, you're gonna click Control Space. You're gonna hit Control and Space. Now this is what's gonna pop up in Control and Space. Now all you gotta type in is Ultra Keyer that you want. I just put in Alt and that typically pops up. And then I click that, then press Add, right? Now, Ultra Keyer is already in. You don't got to touch none of this. This is perfect. And you're going to click and hold this and then come and drag it where you see the green. Now, you see wherever I bring it to, it starts to disappear, right? So you want to land it on the green area, but on the right side, okay? Then once you do that, it's going to get rid of, hold on, just got a goddamn text message. Oh, just got paid from work. Cool. Yeah, it's going to show that it got rid of the green screen. See? But obviously that's still too big. So what you got to do is bring it down, you know, to where, you know, it's the size that you like it at. Don't be on no funny stuff, y'all. Of course she agreed. And that's about it. And this applies to pretty much anything. If you want to import, let's say, the YouTube pop-up. And it's the same thing. You know, you're going to right click on new Fusion clip, go over to the Fusion section. Then you're going to go to where you see those two black dots, click on the left dot, and then you're going to hold and click Control Space, and then Ultra Keyer is going to be on there. Add that, click the ink pad, drag it over to the green, gets rid of it. Yeah, but again, I don't really do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just typically just let it just, because people going to subscribe, they're going to subscribe. You know, I'm not going to force it on niggas. I don't like constantly doing those pop-ups. And it's a little bit of me being lazy, not gonna lie. But you know, at least you guys know, right? At least you guys know what you gotta do, right? Yeah, then it's the same thing for YouTube. You're going to go on to the rocket ship area. I recommend putting on automatic, or bringing up the restrictions to 80K. That's typically the best quality you're gonna get. And it's gonna say replace existing file. You can do that, or you can just rename it. Now, so while that's rendering, what I do, I usually get my thumbnail prepared, right? A lot of the times what you guys are going to go through, right? It was something I went through. You do the edit and then you want to hurry up and push the video out because you're excited to do it, but you want to do your thumbnails pretty well. You don't want to cheap out on it too much, okay? Now, I know that's something that you guys was looking forward to, is me showing you guys how I do my thumbnail process, and I'm gonna show you guys. You're gonna go to Canva. Now, Canva is where I get my outros and stuff from. Now, here you can see all my past projects and stuff. You can click on templates, and over here, if you go to the search option, let's say you type in, look, right here, perfect outro, right? You're gonna see a bunch of outros that you can use to tweak and make. I'll let you guys go through that yourself, but I just want to focus on the thumbnail itself to teach you guys how to, you know, just make a simple thumbnail. When I typically come in, I go to YouTube thumbnail design, or you can just search it in when you want to create a new design. Oh, actually, before I get straight to the thumbnails, let me show you guys something real quick. Wherever you record from, right? Let's say you record from Crunchyroll, okay? Let's say you record from here. Now, let me show you guys something. It's not going to pop up. Like you guys see here on the camera, right? You see how it looks. Let's say I want to watch, look, Solo Leveling, right? You're gonna notice something once it starts playing. What's going on with my internet? See, right now I can see it, but you guys can't see it. It's playing. You can even see the audio track playing, but it's not showing on here. So one thing you have to do is you have to go, so we're gonna go to Chrome. You're gonna right click the three dots up top, and then you're gonna click on setting. Then once you're here in the settings, you wanna click over at system, and then you see use graphic acceleration when available. You wanna turn that off. Click and turn this off. Once you click and turn this off, it's gonna ask you to relaunch. boom, it's gonna relaunch. That's totally fine. Now look, let's just click on Attack on Titan. I don't care. See, now you guys can see it, but the only thing with that, you have to turn it back on if you're gonna make thumbnails. I don't know why, but and I don't know why it works once you turn it off. It's weird, but niggas don't tell you that. But at least now y'all know. If you're using another site that's not like, Hulu, Crunchyroll, let's say, you got your own site that you like personally going to, not gonna say which names, but let's say you wanna go there, you do not have to turn off the graphics little thing. You don't have to do that. It'll work with it on. I usually do it that way so I don't have to, cut it back on and off and all that crap. It gets annoying after a bit. So look, since it was an episode from Bungo Stray Dogs, this is episode 12 that we reacted to, right? What I do is I turn off the subtitles and I search throughout the anime where I want to screenshot something to use it for a thumbnail, okay? So actually, some part of me really like, some part of me really like hers, I ain't gonna lie. You can go to upload files. So look, what you can do, you can set the image like that, but from a screenshot, the upload doesn't look too high quality, right? It looks a little blurry, doesn't look too nice. So what I typically do is, I typically go to this website here called Cutout Pro. It enhances the image of the anime that you're using. So since I did take a screenshot, I'm gonna take this and then upload it on here and then watch. It's gonna make it appear a little bit better. See, now I downloaded in HD, but trust me, even if you download in the free version, it does look better than a regular screenshot. I'm just being real. That's what I used at first. Now I am paying for it, paying for the HD version, but to me, it's worth it in the long run because I want my thumbnails to be a little bit more higher quality. So I download that and then boom, go over here, drag that. Gonna wait for this to fully upload. Then you're gonna see it like do a slight blink and the quality is gonna increase. Hold on. See, bam. So yeah, so the quality looks a little bit better, right? Compared to this, it's definitely, I'm pretty sure you guys can agree that looks better, right? Now, I'm going to reuse, now this is gonna, again, I'm keeping it simple. I'm going to use this image. I have images that I already prepared on here, right? That I took before. Now, I took my images on my iPhone. Took a picture of myself on my iPhone, then upload it. Yes, this right here is a fake reaction of me looking at the screen. I understand that. At first, I was not doing fake reactions. I was actually screenshotting one of my reactions and then putting it on the thumbnail, right? Just so it felt more authentic, right? But this way, it just makes the process faster, okay? But you don't want to be reusing doing the same exact one. At least switch it up, okay? At least. But this is just showing you guys a simple way of making it. We're going to increase my size about right there. And since I am blocking her off, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick because I want both her eyes in this. I'm gonna detach this. We're going to increase the size like that. Actually, hold on. We're gonna increase the size like this, right? Boom. Now we're gonna have it right there, right? Now this is the simple way to where I won't be blocking off her view because I want the viewers to see that, her full face type deal. So I'm going to duplicate the image, and this image right here, I'm going to flip it. Boom. Right? And then I'm just going to do it like this. Now this is the ghetto way, okay? And then let's say I put this right here, flip it, boom, right? To where it matches. Increase the size of myself. Let's bring myself right there. Now you guys got a better view of her face, right? But let's see, when I clear this part up, what I have a bunch of effects in here towards the lower half of my images. See, I got like fire, I got bleach, I got the titles of Bleach, JJK, stuff that I reacted to. Now these are the effects that I use to try to cover some stuff up and little things I don't want being shown. I'll click this. I forgot where I got this from. This is it was like a glowing effect cutout PNG I searched. I forgot the name of it though, I'll be real. So I increased the size, drag it. Let's say I want to place it right here. And I know it looks weird, like what, it's covering you up. It's covering, my face up. So you're gonna right click and you're gonna look at layer. Then you're gonna click on show layers. Now this is where this is what you have to master for sure. It's not nothing difficult. I wanna drag myself above that image. Oops, or we can drag it down. See how now I'm above this? You see what I mean? Now I'm above it. Before, when it was on top, it was above me. But now I have it lowered. You feel me? So we're gonna put it there and this right here. And what we can do, if you, let's say you want to change the color of this, make sure you click on this and then click edit. Then once you click on edit, you can adjust the color. Let's say you can scroll down right here, color edit. You can, let's say you want it, you know, blue or greenish. It's up to you to tweak it some, you know what I mean? We're gonna do about that color. Increase that saturation. And just to add more color to cover up that little part, I duplicate it again. But again, we don't want it above me. We're gonna right click, layer, show layers, and make sure this is at below. And then let's say you want to select this layer, but this one's above it. Let's say I'm above it, so I can't really click on the layers behind it. My trick is to basically, you know, go to layers and click on that. Bam. See, I can move it. No issue. I'm gonna place that right there. This, I'm gonna move right here. And then for me, you know, just so I pop a little bit more, we're gonna click on edit, and then you see it says FX effects. Lord, I can't speak. Click on shadows, and I add a glow to myself. You can increase the intensity. You can change the color to whatever you want, white, black, you know, and you can increase the blur, lower the blur. You can tweak it how you want, you know. So let's just do it like you know, what you typically see, you know, YouTubers do, I guess. Boom, that's right there. Now, I already have cutouts for Bungo Stray Dogs. I have multiple of them, actually. You can always search online. Just type in, like, for example, you'll type in PNG, let's say Naruto, logo, right? Or you can say cutout, whatever. Now, you see there's a bunch of images like on here. You see you got free download for the Naruto logo PNG. You can easily download this and it'll be cut out for you already. Then you just gotta slap it over on here. That's simple. And then, you know, I want the logo to be up on here. We're going to, you know, lower the size of it. Go like that. Shadows, add that on there. Increase the shadows a little bit. Increase it. Now this is this a high quality thumbnail? No, it's not. We can still add another duplicate of this. Let's say we do this, but we want some more corners of this. We're gonna put it right there where it slightly covers me a tad bit. The reason why I really like this glow effect is because it brightens up the thumbnail. You don't want your thumbnail to be too dark at times. Sometimes it's inevitable. There's nothing wrong with it being dark, but most of the time, the brighter the image, the more catchier it's going to be to the audience. You got to imagine a lot of you guys are scrolling. Sometimes you stop. You look at the thumbnail, then you look at the title. Remember that the thumbnail is what catches people's eyes and attention. So try to make it at least decent. This one is just kind of rushed, just a simple one. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit more advanced one. Now with this one, you guys, it's not hard, but you have to be creative. Keep this in mind. We're gonna look at this fake one I did. Now you see how I did this fake one? I'm overlooking him, but I'm still behind Berserker, right? Now I got the logo here and all this. So what I did for this image, I pictured myself in the video, in the anime. Picture yourself in the anime. Remember that. Picture yourself in the anime. That's the first step. So let's go and look for a random anime we're gonna make a thumbnail off of it, based off of it. I'm gonna show you guys an example from Chainsaw Man. Now this is a really good example because there's a lot of different perspectives and it looks realistic, not realistic. So it's easier to do these type of images right here. This is a good one. I will screenshot this, right? So we're gonna screenshot it. Then we're gonna go straight over to the anime enhancer. So I enhanced the photo, as you guys already know, I enhanced the photo. Now there's another version of this, right? Let me show you guys something. From the anime enhancer, you can just place out because I already enhanced the photo, but I'm gonna just show you guys another. I'm gonna enhance it again. You see at the bottom it says background remover. You're gonna click on background remover, and I have this bookmarked already, but still it's nice to have it. You're gonna upload the image that you screenshotted, whatever the case may be, that you want to use, right? Now, see, it cuts them out for you. Before I was doing this by hand. it was really stressful. But this is how I get the image of them separated. This is the key point. So look, we're gonna download this. We have this right here. Before I screenshotted this, I actually picture myself in this scene. I'm like, you know what? I can be in the middle, someone in the back, where I'm like disappointed. Like, bruh, like you see, look, Denji's disappointed. Forgot this nigga Sasuke nigga's name. Aki, yeah, he's like irritated at power. So I gotta feel the same thing. And I want you guys to picture yourself like this. Now, how are we gonna take this picture? How are we gonna input ourselves in this? So this is the first key. We're gonna need a selfie stick. That's crazy. This is my lightsaber and lifesaver because it looked like a lifesaver. But this is what you're gonna need. So I typically set up my camera. I typically either use one of my phones because I have 3 phones. I have an Android and 2 iPhones. I typically will have this. I'll set this up on here, right? Get it propped up, looking all nice and whatnot. I try to keep it basically to where the camera, like this camera, like, okay, you see how you see them, right? Imagine, okay, I'm taking this photo. So if it's a sky view, I'm going to angle it, put it somewhere to where the phone is angled downward, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? But this is straightforward towards them. So I'll have it straightforward. This selfie stick, it comes with a Bluetooth button that you can connect to your phone to take the picture. So I'll take a picture of myself looking disappointed, whatever, on my phone. Then I upload this picture up on here. Then once my photo is up on here, I treat it just like an anime. I'm going to remove the background, put the photo on here to remove the background. What I always do, I always edit it slightly, this cutout, because I'm gonna put the cutout that I took of this image and I'm gonna place it directly over this. You see, I put it right over the characters. You can't tell nothing, you can't see nothing. And then this is the photo I took to mimic their posing and to keep the camera still at the same perspective of what it's looking like from the anime. And then now remember, how are we gonna put this behind them? Remember the layers. So right click layers. And then we're gonna show layers and then we're gonna lower it right behind them. Now, if you see, the side of his face is highlighted. So the sun is coming from behind him on the left or on his right. Same with Denji. So remember I told y'all where I have the highlight of the picture from my ring light on the side of me so it can emulate as if a sun is on it. So what we're gonna do is flip it horizontal. Boom, you see that? After you do this, you wanna edit yourself to where you can mimic the coloring, you know what I'm saying? The coloring filter of them. So again, you go edit here, you go to adjust, and then you can tweak your brightness. You don't want to go too crazy, you know what I'm saying? Contrast. See, I know for a fact in Chainsaw Man, it's not as vibrant as others, so you can lower the vibrance a little bit, tweak it to where it'll match. See, so right now, this is what it looks like. Now, sometimes what you can do, you can add a shadow. Like, let's say, we're going to duplicate. Yeah, so we're going to duplicate the cutout, right? Now, stay with me. And we're going to edit this part. We're going to crop it out to where it's only Denji, right? You see that? It's only Denji being shown. And then you can go and click on edit, and in effects, you can find shadow, right? Now there's different types of shadows. You got drop shadow. You can kind of see how that looks. You got, you can switch the angle of it. So, we're going to do it like that somewhat. Let's see, does that look all right? Yeah, because I want to do a slight shadow on myself. You get me to where, but I'm wearing a lot of black, so it's going to be hard to really even notice it. So let's increase it. Now you want to match it to the size of the actual character. You can increase the intensity a little bit. Now this doesn't look too good only because I'm wearing a lot of black. You know what I mean? So it's hard really to see Denji casting a shadow on me, but you get the point. And then, bam, put the logo. Let's lower it about right here. Look at that. Bam, you got a thumbnail. Now this is dark. See what I mean? This is dark. And I'm be real with you, doing this takes a lot of time. If you're one to want to push out, videos every single day, multiple videos, sometimes the thumbnail can hold you back in speed. Like right now it's 3:20 a.m., right? This is after I made the thumbnails, did a little editing for the video. So sometimes you get tired. Like right now I'm tired, you feel me? So I'm like, I don't feel like doing this type of editing style. I don't feel like getting up proposing, posing, trying to get that right angle of a photo. But you know, it's nice for the viewers. It's cool when they see different stuff like this, because not a lot of reactors will do this. You know what I mean? Or at least I don't know any reactors that do this, you know what I mean, to this level, to where they're picturing themselves in it. Because, you know, as a reactor, you know, you want to put something on there that captures people's attention. If you're like, you know, niggas get irritated after that, after a while, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to be super repetitive. Even though, as you guys can see, I have this stuff on here, right? But this stuff comes in handy. There's a reason behind it. Like you can see right here, you can see this is what I used. And you can see, look at my hand, look at my hand. You can see the button I did to take the picture for for the Berserker one, for Fate. But yeah, this right here comes in handy, guys. Like, doing this, people will appreciate it, but just remember, you know, sometimes stuff like this, it doesn't always do well in the YouTube grand scheme of things, these style of thumbnails, because again, it's dark, it's not easy to be seen, it's not something that's eye-catching. So sometimes, you know, stuff like this will make it pop, but it doesn't look as realistic. So like, let's say you want to do like, let's move it to something like this, just a little bit more light. You get me? And you can obviously change the color. Like I said before, you can change the color to like whatever color you want. It adds a little pop. But typically when I do these styles of, you know, thumbnails, I typically don't do that. You know, I typically don't. So this is my favorite thumbnail, and I know you guys really love this too, but it's time consuming. Keep that in mind. This is what I use and what I did to, you know, to do anime reaction videos, and this is my knowledge and what I can offer to you guys, the least I can do. Just keep in mind, you know, when you do this, first couple of videos, you're gonna be nervous. You're not gonna be yourself. Trust me, you're not. Like, I mean, when I started, I was trying to sound cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't talk normal. You know, even though I have a deep voice, typically when I talk, I purposely speak higher. You know what I'm saying? But when I was starting, you can tell I didn't have enough energy. You know, yeah, and don't be, you know, sad if you get like 10 views, 5 views, that's okay. When I first started, like when I first started my reactions, when I started Bleach, I was only getting like 5 views, 10 views. I remember I was only getting comments from 2 people. It was Danger McFierce and Certified Sunset. Those was the 2 people I was getting comments from. And that's like as episodes are going by, but those were mainly the only 2. You get me? Now, obviously, once I kept pushing out more, I kept getting more comments. And then once I got to a certain level, I got 100 views one video. I was so hyped by that because I put a lot of faith into doing reactions, because at first I was thinking about like, nah, like doing Bleach reactions wasn't it, because I was going faster when I was doing other stuff. You guys can't see it, but Bleach wasn't my first YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? I was doing One Piece videos, you know, funny little anime videos. And to me, that was cool. You feel me? Like I was getting 100 views and stuff. I'm like, see, this is way better. I put faith in doing reactions. You know, I was like, you know, forget it. If we're gonna do reactions, we're gonna do reactions. It felt good. It takes time. You know, you're not gonna get hundreds of views all the time. You're not gonna get thousands of views all the time. I still get hundreds of views. Just, you know, just take time. Be yourself. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to be like me. Be yourself. Trust me on that, bro. Because you want them to be attracted to you, attracted to your personality, to where you don't want to be fake. Do not be fake. If you've seen the anime already, you've seen the anime already. If you, like, just don't be on no funny stuff. Now, if you forgot it, you forgot it, you know, then yeah, go ahead, do your thing. Also, if you don't have a nice surroundings, you don't have a nice room, whatever the case may be, clean your space that you're going to be recording in. Do not be in no filthy room, it doesn't look good, and it's not, like, you shouldn't be filthy in general, you know what I'm saying? But, and I know this, this thing got nothing to do with videos. I'm just saying, you're gonna have hundreds of people watching your stuff. You don't wanna be known as a filthy nigga. You should be clean anyway, you know what I'm saying? But clean up your room. You don't need to have nothing fancy. I don't have a lot of stuff in my room. I don't. You can see like my room, I have stuff, but it's not like packed. I keep it clean. Now sometimes stuff is gonna get dirty. It's not always gonna be clean 24/7, but have it nice and clean so you're always ready to record and shoot, edit, and get that video out. Like right now, my room's not super clean. Like y'all seen, like my bed wasn't done. You feel me? Like it, like my pillows is all wrinkled. It's cool, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, do that. Possibly get you some lights to put in the background. I got a little lamp, and I got my my oil diffuser with a little light on it. Nothing too crazy, but put a lot of passion into it. See if it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And what I'm doing, you don't have to always just do anime reactions. This covers, doing regular reactions. It covers music reactions to a certain degree. And it takes a long time. I tried to, because right now it is about to be 4 a.m. So I've been at this for a while. Now I want y'all to remember something though. Let's say one episode takes me about 30 minutes to, do the editing for or whatever. Yeah, remember I'm editing it twice. So it's close to an hour to do one episode. Now I want y'all to remember something. I did 14 eps in one video. Think about that. And sometimes it didn't pass copyright, so like, just keep that in mind. You feel me? It takes a little work, but it's fun. Enjoy the process. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have times you don't want to record. You're gonna have times where you don't want to, deal with people on the internet. That's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a little tough skin. You can't be soft. Just enjoy it. We're all here to enjoy what we do, whether it's anime reactions, watching people react to anime, watching people react to what we like watching or hearing or listening. Just enjoy it, bro. Enjoy the process. Have fun with this. You do it all the time. You know what I mean? You just don't do it in front of a camera. Don't be fake. Don't try to force it. Just be yourself. Express yourself. That's it, man. But yeah, good luck, you guys. I hope you guys who are thinking about doing reactions or whatever, thinking about becoming a YouTuber, just give it a shot. You don't know if it'll work for you. Who knows? I don't even know if this will be my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say 5 years from now and I'm only at like 20K subs and like, I don't see the purpose or the reason I keep going, then I'm gonna hang it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, like I ain't no like 19-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm in my mid-20s, you feel me? So I ain't gonna be at this if I don't see no, progress like that. I ain't gonna kill myself over this, but I'm enjoying it. That's the thing. I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the grind. But if it's not for you, if it's not for me, just stop. It doesn't hurt to try. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much. And I hope you guys, appreciate this, had a different look, insight to it. I know I don't use my words the best. I know I don't express myself the best, but I hope you guys, at least got an understanding of this. I'll catch y'all later, man. We out.